man, you guys are losing focus. And then he starts signing a bunch of bands, man, like this dance music shit that wasn't selling.
Mm.
So on the one hand, this Mix-a-Lot stuff is steadily climbing the ladder because Swats is going towards platinum, and then some of this other stuff is weighing the teeter-totter down. You know what I mean?
Right.
So obviously, at some point, he's robbing Peter to pay Paul. The Mix-a-Lot money is paying for the stuff that he wants to do that's failing. He doesn't know how to. Well, he knew how to micromanage it. He knew how to lay out a spreadsheet. Ed was a genius, but I don't know how he did his business. I'm just telling you. Long story short, at the end of the Seminar album, which was our second album, I met a brother named Ricardo Frazier, who worked for Ed at the time in the mailroom, and I noticed that a lot of the guys there, when I had a question about publishing and things of that sort, they'd ask him.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, wait a minute, what's wrong with this picture here? You know what I mean? You got all these so-called big shots walking in back to the mailroom asking this brother, what is this? How do we do this? And he's spitting it to him, and I'm like, man. So then Ed and I start going at it. I was telling my then manager, look, man, I think this guy owes me like $600,000-$700,000. For what? Well, publishing. We didn't know what publishing was. We started reading on it and found out that, yeah, wait a minute, you do owe me some publishing. His defense then was, I didn't really understand what publishing was. Well, if you didn't understand what publishing was, how did you go to Black Sabbath and clear Iron Man? You cleared Iron Man because it was a publishing issue, and you knew that's what it was. I didn't know.
Mm.
Here's another problem. The manager I had then also worked for Ed Lott.
Mm.
The conflict was obvious.
Right.
So there's a conflict of interest there. I called Ricardo, and I told him, I said, dude, of course, me and him, that then manager got in an argument because he made me. That's another one you hear a lot of managers say. So I asked Ricardo, dude, what are you doing, man, for the next 5-6 years? He said, what do you mean? I said, won't you be my manager? And, gears shifted immediately. First thing he did was quit. He stopped working for Ed. He went down, and he hired some lawyers, and we found all this money. And we said, dude, we got to get this money or else. Well, I backed off because I liked Ed. Ed was like a brother to me, and without him, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. So I said, look, don't give me the money. If you can just say on paper that you owe it to me, we'll deal with it later. He wouldn't say it. Too proud, I guess. So, long story short, we went to court, man, which was ugly. I hated to see him in court like that. You know what I mean? This is a cat that we used to hang out and play ball together. Now we're in court over this. They say it happens all the time in the game. So he lost. He said he didn't need me to survive. He said that to the judge. He shouldn't have said that. The judge was like, oh, well, then this is a done deal. If you don't need him to survive, he can move on. And I walked. I didn't get any money. I went and got to deal with Rick Rubin. And that's when I dropped the Mac Daddy album. And he went on and did something and just squandered it. I thought he had a great thing if he had. I think he just got a little big for his britches.
Tell me a little bit about the Seattle The Dark Side project.
That was E-Dog's project. Initial. Well, no, you're talking about the first one, the Seattle The Dark Side. Well, what I was trying to do is I thought, this is when I started to realize what this game is really about. I thought having a number one record, you know what I'm saying? I had a Grammy at 4 or 5 million records. I thought, man, now I can put some people out. Now I can put some cats down. I can really do what I want to do. I kept running into opposition. So it was almost like throwing me a little bait. The label said, well, I'll tell you what, we'll let you put out this compilation. And we'll give you, 100 grand, 50 grand to put it together. And what they did basically was throw a dog a bone. They just gave me something to keep me happy so I wouldn't be pissed off and not deliver my next record. They let me put the compilation together. They did nothing to promote it. They turned down all the acts. Didn't want none of them, nothing. So now I'm coming back home with all this supposed power, having to explain to these brothers and sisters, some of them, that I can't do nothing for you. And that's where everything just hit the fan. It was like Cat said, Mix-a-Lot wasn't giving back. He's holding cats down, but I'm trying, but I didn't have the power I thought I had, And that's kind of basically what happened with that project. Seattle The Dark Side would have been it was an interesting project, an interesting experiment. I was willing to eat a lot of it. I was willing to pay for a lot of it myself. But what was supposed to come of it was the artist that most people liked was supposed to come off the compilation and make an album.
Right.
Warner Brothers changed their mind. So, and they had that power because of the deal we had. But I realized that I didn't have the power I thought I had.
Right.
Most cats don't. Britney Spears ain't got no power.
Hmm.
You know, that's just the way the business works.
10 years from now, how does Sir Mix-a-Lot want to be remembered?
Damn. Well, that's a $64 million question. That's interesting, man, because I don't concern myself much with legacy, and I'm not. I saw somebody the other day call me a legend of rap. I'm like, legend of rap. Dr. Dre's a legend to me. That's the way I look at it, because he's touched all these different things, and everything he touches turns to platinum. Dr. Dre sells 500,000 records, just a flop. I can't believe that. I'm like, dude, give me those flops all day long. But I guess I'd like to be remembered as a cat who, unlike a lot of cats in the game, actually kept it real. When I say that, what I mean is I didn't act like a gangster when it was popular to be a gangster. I wasn't doing the running man and wearing high top fades when it was popular to do the running man and wear high top fades. I always, a lot like Too Short, I stayed true to what I was. My style's changed. Just like on this new record, my style may have changed, but when I step on the stage, it's still that cat you saw 10 years ago. Just a few things modified, obviously styles and stuff like that, but I was never addicted to fads. Right. And I like to be remembered as a cat who really did what he felt was the real thing. A lot like me. To me, keeping it real, Too Short kept it real. Right. And here's the odd one. To me, Fresh Prince kept it real because he stayed what he was. Yeah. It's like I know a lot of cats now that's rapping that was doing gangster rap 7 years ago. Now they doing pop stuff, dancing around. I know cats that was dancing in '89 that ended up being gangsters in '94. I'm like, what are we doing here? Which is why I didn't like when Hammer did the last record and he came up with the skull cap and the lokes. I'm like, dude, what are you doing, dog? Yeah, what are you doing that for, dog? Just be who you are. Yeah. And if cats are dissing you, then fuck them. Say it though. That's what I thought he should have done. But then again, I'm not his manager.
We're ready to go again, so go ahead and when we count down, you can ask the question we're going to ask.
Okay, just give me a countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, and...
There's a lot of college students at TCC, Pierce. A lot of wanna be rappers, or want to make it rappers, rather I should say, since wanna be holds a negative term. What advice would you give them as far as getting started in the business, surviving in the business, and becoming something and making it in the Northwest that really hasn't established itself or came into its own yet?
Be yourself. And of course that sounds like a lot of cats say that, but I mean it with conviction. Dude, I got to give you an example. I got 10 demos right now that come from the Seattle, Tacoma area. Everybody sound like Tupac. And one of them sound like E40. Oh, okay. It's like Seattle, we got, our culture is different here. Talk about it. Because a cat in Kentucky might hear that and go like, damn, what is he talking about? Ivory? What are you talking about? Fish and chicks at the Seattle Senate? What is all this? Because that's what we're infatuated with. We love hearing about Oakland and Compton and the Dirty South. So it's like, make Seattle something people want to listen to instead of trying to imitate what's already out there. The more original you are, the better chance you got of making it. And sometimes the more strange you are, the more likely you are to make it. Look at to me, Busta Rhymes. He's a performer. Yeah. He's animated. He does crazy stuff, and he stands out. You can sit there and watch MTV all day and be falling asleep, and Busta Rhymes come on. You be like, look at this fool. Stand out, be seen, make some noise, and for God's sake, make the songs addicting. Give me a chorus. The average kid is driving, and don't do them for your homies. Right. I used to do that too. A lot of cats a lot of rappers like, I'm representing, yo, check this out. Boom, 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 whoop-de whoop. And they let their homies hear it, and the homies is lit up. Right. But their homies' girls is falling asleep. Right. Well, then you got a problem. I'm not doing my songs for 5 or 6 cats, up on the hilltop, on Horton, on Yesler, on Union. I'm doing them for the masses. Right. That doesn't mean pop. Right. That doesn't mean go out and, and unbutton your shirt down to here and start doing the bump. I ain't saying that, but do something cats can feel. And if you can, the hell with being a rapper, there's a whole lot of ways to make money in this business. It's not just about the rap game. I know cats that are promoters,